Last home weekend. Excited. We're going to celebrate Helena and as Mary and Isis. But just, I think, a great opportunity while we have momentum, won 6 out of 8. So I think it's going to be a good weekend to kind of see where we're at and how much momentum we really have. So I'm excited. Can't wait. Can't wait to play Juju, who's only averaging 27 points. It's always great last weekend. But, no, I am excited because they were playing two really good teams.
Weeks ago, it didn't look like this was a tournament team. Now all of a sudden you put some wins together. You're on the bubble. Is there a newfound energy with the team and excitement?
I think a newfound confidence. I think that we are super excited. We have a little bit of momentum. And I'm proud of us having that momentum because think of the 6 to the 8. Like, one was a pounding from Stanford. So that could have made us go, so we got, and then to go back and win. And just the Cal game was a really hard game. That was a must-win game for us. So I think with all those things, where we're at, we're super, I think they're young, so they don't even think about like all the implications of a game. They just kind of want to play and know it's important, but don't really know how important. They just kind of go. So that's fun.
It doesn't seem like Brooklyn's a typical walk-on. What's her story and what can you say about
Yeah,
her?
so Brooklyn, this is just like random. She's, attended school here all the way from St. Louis to be at Arizona, the same place as Jada, is just random. And then she played AAU with Jada. I don't know if it was only 1 year, but I think it was a couple of years, like back in like 8th grade. So they know each other, and I think they played together, I think, for 2 years, or like for a while off and on when they were young, like different tournaments and stuff. And then when we were talking about the walk-ons, I was like, okay, does anybody know anybody? Are there any? I was trying to recruit volleyball players. I was trying to, think, is there anybody else that can come on the team? And then Jada said, well, I have a teammate, like she hasn't played in a long time, so I didn't know like how good she was. And she was like, yeah, she attends school here. And then I talked to Jada's mom. Jada's mom like called her family, and then I had Jada call her, and then she was interested. So she came for the tryouts, but she didn't have all her paperwork done, so we couldn't try her out with the tryouts. Is that my? Oh, I was like, that's okay. Is that a phone ring? That's an important ring, huh? That's your baby. That's your man. He's got the special ring. I don't even have a ring like that for Salva. But anyways, so yeah, she came for trial. Well, she didn't come for trial. She came for trials, but she couldn't try out because her paperwork wasn't ready. And so that was kind of a debacle. Because remember, there was like 100 and some people, and only 4 had followed instructions by Lauren. So Lauren was mad because she spent like 25 hours putting like all this stuff to do, and like no one did it. And she's like, well, you have to follow instructions. But anyway, so Brooklyn was one of the ones that didn't have it done. And then so she came back for a tryout. And we worked her out, and we were like, she's pretty good because she's bigger. She's like not bigger like a bigger basketball body, and she's like 6 foot, kind of strong, but she was just in really bad shape because she hadn't played basketball in like 2 years. So worked her out, and she's gotten better every workout. The bad thing is she can't come to practices because it's her class, and like she didn't know she was gonna play, and she's a really good student. So that's the unfortunate thing. I think she could even help us more if she was at practice. So we're working her out before practice, which kind of puts her in like a worse situation,
Was she coming to games though? Do you know, like?
Well, this just all happened. Like, I just got her cleared.
No, I mean, but was she coming to games as a student,
No,
like
I
a
don't.
fan?
I never asked her. I shouldn't let her be on the team if she wasn't, huh? That's okay. Now you're making me think about stuff, David. But right now, I have slim pickings, so I don't think she was actually. I don't know. I never asked her that. That would have been a good screening question. No, but I honestly think she wasn't, because Jada hadn't like seen her. I think she was just so into school. She had like school, work, study, a lot going on. So I was like, you can quit your work study because you're gonna have. And I put her on scholarship. So it was a huge. It was kind of felt good because last week I was looking at numbers. We have the scholarships, and like she had like loans and different, like I think she had not a merit but some kind of academic achievement like scholarship, and so me retroactively putting it in, like it like took away the loans and stuff, which is pretty big. So I just put her on for this year because no, I don't know what the future is. It was a good opportunity for her. I was happy. She was like, and her dad flew down here. They were really appreciative because it's a lot of money. I mean, out of state is like 40,000+ plus a tuition and board, and she'll get cost of attendance being an athlete. So she's gonna be like cha-ching, cha-ching, But
For Aaron too?
yeah, Aaron, I did it. Yeah, and Aaron, so like You don't understand, like, when I'm, as a basketball coach, like, we have this, I don't understand, like, the equity sports as far as, like, monetarily, because, like, the merit award in our head coaching, it's really important for them. For me, it was irrelevant because we're, whatever, the way our sport is. But with Erin, it helped because she was on a full ride, but she didn't get, like, the monthly check, the cost of attendance. So for her, it was a difference of, like, $1,800 a month. So I think, her family was really appreciative and happy because she just didn't get that, which I didn't really know what she got before. So for hers, yeah, I did it right away. I mean, if we have it, like, I'm gonna do it. Especially, I feel like they're helping out our team; they don't have to do it. So for me, it's like my pleasure to do it. I'm like, yeah. And then also, I don't know if they were getting 5980, but that's they're gonna get 5980, so they'll get that other 6,000. So that if you put that into account, it's like 2,100 a month. That's a lot. Way richer than I was in college. Probably more than our first jobs. Think about it. They don't pay taxes.
After the Cal game, you said you see a lot of yourself in Jada as a player and a person. Can you elaborate a little bit on that more?
Yeah, she's tough. I was a tough player. I wasn't as good. I wasn't a good player, but I was like tough. I was like mentally strong. I wasn't afraid of anybody. I would like to step up at big games, and that's how she is. She's fearless. She's a true competitor. She doesn't get rattled easily. Even if she's playing bad, she just kind of sticks with it, and that's kind of how I was. And just like the look in her eye and the way she, rallies her teammates, that's how I was. And I think she's probably more mature in leadership than I was at her age, which I really like. So I think she's going to really help us. She's done a great job. And I told her she planned on shooting those shots off the backboard, but not really. But I was like, yeah, you planned that. I was like, that's just what we drew up, like, no. But she's like, come on, she doesn't care, but she doesn't care. She doesn't get embarrassed. Like, I love her. She's a great kid and a great leader, great teammate, all those things. And she's just a freshman. So usually freshmen are like this. And she went through a little moment of, I think she was struggling like with her shot a little bit. Getting those shots, her percentages weren't good. And I think she was down, but you would never know that. I knew that because I was a player. Like, I knew she was down a little bit or just talking to her mom, but she never, like, let that change her attitude, her body language. Like, she's super consistent. And some of the things that I remember that I really like about her, and I pay attention to these things, there was a game in the Bahamas, and, like, she only played, like, 4 minutes. And I looked back, I was like, oh, God, I should have played her more. And then, you usually have like the seating for film. Everybody's like in the second or third rows, or they have their legs on one chair because they're sore from the day before. She was like in the first row. I think she was the only one. And she didn't play. So that showed me a typical player would have been like in the back, kind of like down because they didn't play. She was front and center all into the film. Not like mad because she didn't play. She probably was mad, but like she wasn't selfish about it. Like I think other players would have been like in the back, like, like that's just like a natural like defense mechanism. But yeah, she's not like that, so it's good.
I'm assuming when you said initially that you weren't good, you're referring to yourself as a freshman because
As a
you are the
player,
leading scorer.
but I was tough. No, but one of the things that I'm most proud about, like the record I love, the fouls. I do love that. I take pride in that. Embrace says she's going to beat that, which she actually might. But we're working on her not beating that. I was just competitive. I think I was fearless. Not in the pros as much, 'cause I wasn't as confident, but I was just like, I just played. And we pressed a ton like we do. We did that in college with Joan. But I just wasn't afraid of if you were bigger, taller. I didn't care because I was always undersized. So I think Jada's a lot like that. She plays with the chip, and I like that. That's how Ari was. Ari was always, everybody said she was too small. She wasn't like ranked high. She wasn't recruited highly. And she like always had something to prove. That's kind of how I was. And I think that's how Jada is.
None of the members of the class of 22 are with the team anymore. When you reflect on that, what kind of lessons do you learn about yourself as a assessor as a recruiter, a general manager?
Who was my 22?
Do I have that right? That's the Maya and Kaylin.
You're right. Oh yeah, it was only Maya. Yeah, so Maya, Kaylin. Yeah, you're right. Jeez, I never thought about that. I think it is what it is. I think last year, we talked about like making the rosters. Like last year, I brought some fifth years. I brought like Lauren Fields. Lauren Fields wasn't a fifth year, but she was a transfer. And then Jade, Lavelle, all of them. So it was one of those things. You bring fifth years or experienced transfers, your freshmen don't play as much. I think that was one of the things. So Lamaya was going to have to develop and get better. She wasn't at the level yet. Paris was a freshman, kind of up and down, missed a lot earlier. So it's natural, like the more experienced transfers are going to play. But like I think looking back, I probably would have balanced that a little bit better. But like in the end, Paris played 20 minutes. So in the end, I think she was getting her time. That's one of the things why this year I knew we were going to take a step back, because if I didn't, it was going to be the same thing. I would have lost all these kids. This was a top 3 class. So you think about it. You think about Jada, Skylar, and Montea's hurt, but you think about Jada, Skylar, Brea, it would have been the same situation. So let's say I would have brought 4 more transfers, which I could have. We could have brought more transfers. I would have been the same situation again. I would have lost this class. So I think there comes a point in the program where, like, how are you going to build, and what do I do? Well, I'm better with a team that has continuity and stays together longer, like a couple years. So, but what's the sacrifice of that? Winning games. And so, if we would have got more transfers, we would have won more. So we would have probably won like, let's say 4 or 5 more games. We wouldn't have lost all these games close because we would have had more depth and we would have had more experience. But then the result of that is my hard work for like 5 years would be lost again. It would have been the same thing. Because Brea, if she wouldn't have played a lot, she would have transferred. Jada, like these are McDonald's All-Americans kids, she would have transferred. And Sky would have gone closer to home. She's not going to be all the way across the country and not playing. So it would have been the same thing. So building the roster this way, I didn't think I was going to start 3 freshmen, to be honest. But I knew they would play a lot. I knew that they would have opportunities. And I knew we wouldn't win as many games. So now the balancing act is bringing them back, developing them, and then bringing in some transfers that complement them. But we are going to bring in some good players. And so that's the balancing act that's hard. And you just got to kind of decide how you want to build.
Do you ever find your sort of goals to be at odds with each other, like what you want to accomplish as a coach versus general manager?
Absolutely. I mean, last year was a perfect example because I wanted to win and I wanted to bring some good experiences. So I bring in like the leading scorer in the Pac-12. Well, the result of that was like people behind her not playing. And so I think you get to, yeah, I mean, obviously, because I want to win. I'm not here not to win. So it was hard not taking some of the transfers because I know we would have been better. We probably would have been a top 10 team. And so now we're not. We're not ranked for the first time in a few years. And we're not like in a situation I wanted to be in. But also, like, I'm very honest about this, and it's probably a mistake. Like, I schedule way too hard. Like, looking back, I didn't anticipate, because that stuff happens late, and the schedules are already done. I didn't anticipate, like, this mass exodus, and so I wouldn't have scheduled the way I did at all. Because if I would schedule a little bit easier, let's say easier 4 games in a non-conference like I usually have, we would have already been in the tournament. It wouldn't even be a question, and we would have been a top 20 team. But I decided to play the Gonzagas, the UNLVs, go to the Bahamas and play like 2 really good teams, a good SEC team when they were healthy. They had lost their best player the game after. And so we lost those games. And that hurt us because if we were sitting at 4 more wins right now, we're at 20 wins. And that's the balance, and that's the struggle, I think, a little bit. So the goal is to retain a core, bring Montea, and then build with some other, like, I have to get some other good players, though. I have to get, like, another scoring guard, especially with the loss of Caitlin. And then I have to get, I got to get some more depth in the post. And, and do I want to? Like, do I want to go get 8 players out of the portal? Absolutely not. You don't want to do that. But, like, I'm in a probably situation where they're getting 4 players. And that's kind of the reality. So that's the hard thing. And I think it can be really beneficial, and it can be tough also, because you're recruiting people for a couple of weeks. You're not like the history of recruiting, like Lauren Ware, Kate Reese. It's years. I recruited Brea since 8th grade, so there's like the longevity. So the hard thing is you bring in another player that you recruited for like a month. It's your 5 years of work. Like Maya since 8th grade. Caitlin was years of recruiting. It was years of work. It's hard. So those are hard situations.
Just now about how with the physicality and with Helena going down, they all kind of went out on the court, they were rallying around each other, they were helping each other out. How important is it to have that team chemistry with these next 2 games, Pac-12 tournament, when you're trying to make a tournament push?
Well, we have that chemistry, so that's not going anywhere. And I think the adversity that's happened has brought that unit like this. So the unit was like this, and there was a couple people outside, and then it got like this, and then stuff happened, and it went, and then it's like, so it's one of those things, you feed your eagles, and you let the other people starve, and that's kind of how it is. And I think when you're, successful, that's what you have to do. And I learned that from my neighbors, and that's really actually true because you're either going to assimilate, you're going to jump on the bus, or you're going to get left behind, and that's a fact, and that's the reality. And the thing is, that's hard. Those are hard things. But I have to think about this core. I mean, they're bought in, they're cohesive, they have great chemistry, better than I've seen in a long time. I've never seen this with such a young team because I usually don't know how to do it. But this is what I saw with our unit in, 23? No, 21. In 21, like the Bendu, but I had like history with them. But think about how long I coached them. So that's like what I'm seeing with this young group, not as talented as that group, but will be, because the mentality, the will, and like the chemistry and leadership. And we didn't, like last year, we did not have leadership. Like I anticipated having leadership, but we didn't have it because some of the stuff that happened last year or this year would not have happened with some leadership. And that's okay, because as a young team, like I can't just say, David, be a leader. Like you're a freshman, be a leader. You're like, well, what is that? Like, how do I be a leader? Like you have to learn how to lead, and so I have to teach you. And so when there isn't leadership in a team, I have to lead, and I have to make decisions, and I have to lead. Then I have to teach Jada what it is to be a leader in college, and what does that look like, and how she does it, and I correct her along the way. But I have to mold that. So that takes time.
Do you think then, with everything you've dealt with this season, that this is your best coaching job?
No, I think it's been fun. Like I'm having way more fun than last year. Last year was a long year. I was miserable last year. I'd say this year there's been some tough situations that I didn't anticipate. I think that after last year, I thought we were going to trend in one direction with certain people, and it turned out opposite, and that's not what I expected. So I think just a little disappointment, and I try to think I'm a very I look at myself in the mirror, and I'm really like critical of myself and decisions, but like I don't know what I could have done different. And I think that you think, just like you think you may get a job, you think it's a certain way, it may be different. You have to adjust, and you have to pivot, and I'm pretty good at pivoting. And but I could have probably done a few things better, but I don't know how I could have controlled certain situations. So it is what it is. So I just move on. So I just move, pivot, and like you got a group. But the most important thing I think for me is I'm having fun. I'm enjoying this group. You know how fun it is to watch this group. Like we're not as talented as most teams in the Pac-12. But we're loving it. They're having fun. We're barely practicing, so they probably love that even more. Players hate practicing, but like they're having fun and they're trying. And I think for me, it gives me so much optimism for next year and the future off of this group. I love their families. They're just good kids. Like it's been fun. I don't know about my best coaching.
What's your focus going up against Juju tomorrow?
So we know she's going to score. She's high volume. She's always on the attack. She's a really good player. We're not going to stop her, but we want to slow her down. We want her to be not efficient, and make her take shots that are lower percentage shots. Now, can we do that? That's another question. But I think that also containing the other players, not letting like a role player go off like we did last week, and just kind of keeping people in their roles and then slowing her down and just having different people guard her. And I think trying to get 14,000 fans here to help with that, make it really loud, make it really hard, and that can help us out too. But yeah, we just have to slow her down.
There are disadvantages to having to play all these ranked teams back to back like this, but are there advantages that you just saw USC and UCLA recently?
I guess. The advantage for this year, we had a hard non-conference. I think the advantage is without some of those experiences, I don't think we win these games. The disadvantage of like a ranked team every week is like it's never easy. It's never like you can't just focus on USC. You have to focus the week on USC and UCLA. It's a shorter week without a lot of depth and practice. Like that's hard. Like, nobody's really been active all week. And so that's hard. I think in the past, whether it's us or Cal, Stanford, you could like be a little bit more heavy on one team. But our league is so good, you can't do that with anybody. So I think it's good. We saw them a couple of weeks ago. I don't think we felt like we played great. So I think it's a chance like to come back and play them again. It was 2 weeks ago, so it's recent. But they're just good. So and then when we faced UCLA at UCLA, it was Bet's first game back. So I think it's just fun to get up. And right now, we don't have pressure. I know we probably, looking at standings, have to win one more game, but no one's going to look at us sideways if we lose against 2 top 10 teams the last weekend. But I think for us to put ourselves in a better situation to kind of take ourselves off the bubble would be to get some wins this week. So we're going to see what we're made of. We're going to see how we can sustain, and we're going to see how much momentum we have. And I think we're in a good place right now. I don't know if I can have us in a better place. You know, the roster is what it is, but I don't think I could prepare us anymore or have us mentally more ready than we are now, honestly. So we're going to see what that is, and hopefully it's positive results. But I think we play well at home, so it's good.
I'm sorry.
No,
What has the senior class meant to you?
a lot. Helena's been here 5 years. I've watched her grow and change. I've watched her just evolve and blossom as a young woman. She has had an incredible family they're just wonderful people. It's never been about Helena. Like Helena think about Helena. She didn't start until last year. She was off the bench her whole career. They were never like texting. We have a group chat, and like it's in Spanish mostly, but so I don't understand all of it. But so I just do my Google Translate. But her mom and I do English. But like Helena can have like 30, she can have 4, she can play 39 minutes, she can play 4. It was never about Helena, it was always about the team. She was always like our biggest fan. And Helena's an awesome kid, a great student, great in the locker room. I've never had a coaching issue with her, like she's never even done this. Like roll her eyes when I tell her something, even if I've been like critical. She's a great kid, like someone you'd want to coach every year, like a Sam Thomas. Never negative, never like family negative on this and that, never like unrealistic expectations. Just a great teammate. People love her. She's actually really funny. So I've loved coaching her. Like I'm sad. I'm really sad she's leaving. Like really sad. Some other people didn't mind, but her, I'm very sad. So, sometimes you feel like it's too long. Sometimes you're like, oh gosh, it's too many years. I do not feel that way about Helena, and she's really awesome. I'm sad she can't come back another year or two.
So, of course, the big goal is make the NCAA tournament.
Mm-hmm.
In one bracket, they have you on the bubble. In another, they have you solid at a 10 seed.
I like that other bracket. Who does the other bracket? I'm not a fan right now. Huh?
Athletics.
The Athletics. See, I like the Athletics shit. Those are my girls until it's innings. No, I mean.
But if you were to pitch the NCAA today, what is on your resume that you think makes you an NCAA tournament team?
Well, I mean, one of the pure like facts is like we have a very good conference. It's by far better than all the other conferences. So to me, it's impossible that like the ACC, those other conferences could have 9 teams in. It's not like we're playing ranked teams every weekend, and like our 5th place team in our conference is number like 9 in the country. Like that's insane. And like I even look back when we were at Washington, we were 5th place. We went to the Final Four. So our conference, and then when we went to the Final Four in the national championship, it was 1 and 2 in our conference, and we do well in the. So to me, it's like I can't believe that we wouldn't be talking about the Pac-12 having 8 or 9, because when I look at those teams that are 6, 7, 8 in the other conferences, we would kick their butts, and so would our conference. So would the 6, 7, 8 in our conference. Like Cal would go win some games and be successful in the other conference. So when I look at that, I just think that's like definitely that East Coast bias, and I think that's totally wrong. And I think when you look at like the teams we've played, who we've beat, who we've won against at home, to me it's like a no-brainer. To me, I wouldn't have us on the bubble. And we do have momentum at the right time. They take all that into consideration, but I mean, we were chosen in our conference at 7th with a full roster of 12. Like we're gonna finish that with 7 players and losing 5 kids. And like think about our team. We've lost out of Maya, Sally, and Caitlin, like that's half of our team scoring. So we average 70 points. We've lost 50% of our scoring and we're still winning. So to me, like that's like a no-brainer. And I think we can not only go to the tournament, I think we can win a game in the tournament too. I mean, do I think we're a Final Four team? I mean, we could. Anybody can get hot at the right time, but I don't know if we're that good right now. But I also, 3 weeks ago, I was not that optimistic about the tournament, because I just was like, we've lost a lot of those close games. And think about how many games, someone was telling me the other day, or Derek actually at the radio show last night, was telling me like those 4 games that we lost like within a point, if we'd have won those games, we're in 2nd place. So like that margin of error, and with all the injuries, losing Monte at the beginning of the year, like that's a lot. So to see what we've done with all that, that's pretty. I think it's pretty good. So
I think Isis said that Montea is about to be cleared.
yeah, in like a
So
week.
but you're not going to play her this season, right?
No, from selfishly, of course, we need more bodies. Yeah, but no, it's not the best thing for her. Like if I played her a game or two, like let's say she got cleared this week, and I played her on Sunday. She knows all of our plays and everything. So let's say she played Sunday, Pac-12 tournament, let's say 2 games, 3 games. Like maybe at the most she plays 6, 7 games, and then she loses a year. I don't think that's worth it. And she's not in like basketball shape, so I'm not gonna go play her 30 minutes. So for her to play like 5, 10 minutes, like selfishly, like could it help our team? Yeah, but like for her, I don't think that's a good situation. So I'm not selfish, or else I would play her.
It cost that a whole year? I thought if you only play a few games.
No, it's like, no, I thought so too, and I was asking about that. I'm gonna clarify that, but like, it's not football, like, I think if she plays, I think if you're inserted at the, like, during the year, I think if you start at the beginning of the year and don't play a certain percentage, you can redshirt. Because otherwise what would happen is you clear all these people to win more games at the end, and so you can't do that, I know. I don't think that's fair either, but I do see why the rule's in place, because I think everybody would do it. And it would help you at the most important time of the year. Because it would help us a lot, like, she'd help us a lot. We would have been a lot better with Montea. Like, so she has a chance to be a starter here.
You talked about Helena, but as in ISIS, just the impact they've had, and how much, how important it was. ISIS said that had helped her out of a bad situation. How important that relationship has been for them.
Very important. So the first, as Mary also had a previous relationship with Bat. And I think as Mary, just to watch her grow from last year, completely different. And just maturity, in shape, work ethic, mentality. Last year she was really hot, always in foul trouble. This year is so much better. And I think just she's evolved as a player. Shoots the 3 better, just more balance, under control. So I think the skill work has really worked. But I like her improvement on the court and off the court. Off the court, I've seen a big difference. I've seen her in some tough situations, which probably a lot of fans saw. She's done some things in the game that she wouldn't have done a year ago. And she's like showed some really strong leadership. Even this year in a game, she kind of checked the situation and teammate that she wouldn't have done last year. So I watched that, and so we value her so much. I just wish I would have coached her longer, because she would have been like a phenomenal player, and I'm just happy. There came a point at Christmas, which the fans don't know, like she almost left. She almost left and went pro. She was offered some pro contracts, and she could have done that, and then she realized that the best thing for her was to finish out, have a chance, get scouted, because her goal is to go pro to take care of her family. There's like no silver lining in that. There's just, it is what it is. So I'm so happy she stayed. She's getting the accolades, and she's getting better and proving that she belongs here. So I'm proud of her, and we're going to miss her a lot. Like, she really helps us. She's physical, she's tough. I'm one of the toughest kids I know. Yeah, you never have to like beg her to practice when something's wrong. Like, it's just not a lot of kids are made like that. She's like built different. And then Isis, only had her for a short period of time. This is the best shape she's ever been in. And it's funny because, Bet was associate head coach at West Virginia before. And like Coach Carey will call her and be like, wow, you guys have, Isis Bay playing really well. I mean, she's playing the best she's ever played. I mean, no one would have thought she'd at one point have 29 points and be like 100% of the field, because the only one she missed was the one she threw up in the quarter. So she would have been 100%. I think she was like 90-something. But no one would have thought that. And she's getting an opportunity. She's always kind of been in this reserve role and didn't have a lot of minutes last year, and she's only played 3 years. Like, she's been in college 5 years. She's only played 3 because of COVID and redshirting. So to see her, like, just different has been really good, and she's a great teammate. She's a connector. She's one of our best recruiters. People just love her, and, like, she's the one who has, like, everybody at her house and does all those things, like, kind of the mom of the team. Or they call her auntie or something. Her and Courtney with her little purse, they call her Courtney grandma. But it's like, we're gonna miss her. And I want her to come back. I just don't know if she loves school enough to come back. I think she's kind of ready to move on. And she's older, and I don't think she really wants to be in college 6 years, but we're still recruiting her.
How did you, as Mary You said she had no idea what the AP National Player of the Week award was. How did you explain to her the magnitude of what she had
I
won?
said it's really good and it's national. Like, she probably still doesn't understand. And I told Haley, I was like, I've never, like, did Ari ever get that? But she's like, it's new. I'm like, oh, okay, that's why. But I think it's a cool award. I don't know who votes on it. Yeah, but, because I think we should have been Team of the Week last week. That's just my opinion. So we got snubbed on that one. So at least as Mary got some recognition. I'm telling you, the West Coast. Okay, so the only good thing about leaving from the Pac-12 to the Big 12 is maybe get some love in the Big 12 because you'd be closer to all the writers and stuff. I don't know, because the Pac-12, I every year in and year out, like all of our players, we have awesome players. We have a dominant league. We produce pros. It's always overlooked, always, and I don't know how that's possible. And it's sad that it's the last year of the Pac-12 when it's so good in football, basketball. So for us, it's like flipping with the men. The men, like, they go to the Big 12. It's like the gauntlet. For us, the Pac-12 has been like that. The Big 12 is going to be easier than the Pac-12. Different, I mean, initially, but easier. I mean, the Pac-12 teams going to the Big 12 are going to make the Big 12 better, you know? So the men have to play Kansas and all the big dogs, you know? But I think it's going to be good for just giving our kids more recognition and exposure because our Pac-12 network, like, no one's staying up till midnight watching games, unfortunately.
So Saturday you play UCLA again. What's different this time? What do you see from them in the last couple weeks? I mean, you just played them.
Yeah. What's different is I think we're playing better basketball. I think we're confident. I think we just have a different energy and will. Does that lead to a win? I don't know, but I think it's the best situation we could be in at this time of year. Because I remember, like, back when we went to the championship, like, this was the time of year everybody hit that wall. Everybody was, like, over it, mad that they don't have spring break. Like, it was like we were in a bad place that year. It was like we had a blow up right after the Pac-12 tournament. And everybody, like, because this is the time of year where all the college students are stressed. Like, as they don't say it, but they are. As Mary, Elena, they're trying to think, what am I doing next? Can I go to WNBA? Can I go pro? It's like, and the uncertainty of what's next is very, and you see it weighing on people. And some of the other kids, like freshmen, it's a long season. It's like, you're banged up at this time of year. So you either go like this or you go like this. And we kind of went like this that year, and then we kind of came together, had a meeting of the minds and like some clarification on some things, and then we just went like that. So I think that we're in a good place right now, which I wouldn't think we would have been because of just our numbers and stuff. So I'm expecting a good game. I'm expecting that we're really excited, and I think we have a chance to win some games at home. They're good teams, and they're both better than us. They both have more depth. They both have some stars. Like, I think they player by player, I think they're better, but I think we have some momentum. We're playing at home. We play well at home. So I think we have a chance to win.
And what are you seeing in UCLA right now for the scout?
Kiki's playing at a high level, and I always talk about this. It reminds me of Jada and our freshmen this year. Kiki in London had tons of playing time last year. They were starting, Coach Close went with them, and then this year they're playing like seniors. So I think that we're going to have the same thing with Brea, Sky, and Jada. But she's playing at a high level. She's shooting the ball a lot better. She really hurt us when we were there. Her and Jacquez hurt us bad. And then Lauren Betts just alters so many shots around the rim. It's just hard to score when you got like a big player inside, and she's good. So I think they're playing well, and they're full force again. Dugovic is back, so they're good. So we have to play good games. We have to play better than we played to win. I think defensively, we have to have a plan. We have to stay out of foul trouble, and then we have to manage the game well. So with short numbers and a short week, it's tough. But that's how we play this time of year. This is a fun time of year. This is when you're supposed to be up. This is like the exciting time, like getting ready for the tournament, I think. So I think we'll be up to play. We'll be ready, prepared.
One more if anyone has it.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, guys. Yeah.